Hello everyone, I hope you're ready for yet another chill Nebula Camo grinding session. Today we are going to be working on the HE1, which is actually the last launcher that I need because I already did the Sigma 2B. Obviously I'll need to go back through and do all the Opal and then Afterlife and then Nebula Camos eventually for this weapon, which... yeah, I don't know how the elite ones are gonna go. Special enemies are easy enough to take care of, but I don't know, elite enemies with launchers specifically, I noticed it's a little finicky. Also with melee weapons, that's the same thing. I've only done the baseball bat so far in terms of melee weapons. I got that Mystic Gold this morning, but the knife, I mean, it seems like that one may do more damage, so we'll see how that goes. As for the HE1, I just need 670 more normal kills, 30 vermin eliminations, and then 300 eliminations at rare, rarity, or higher, and then the usual 3 kills in a single shot 15 times, which should be pretty easy. So we'll go ahead and, I don't know, you know, we'll do the wavelength one. That one looks pretty cool. Just get something hanging off the side there. And without further ado, I think we are ready to start the match. But before we do that, you know the drill. You need to sit back and get cozy, relax. We're about to grind some camos. You see, normally I would do the Rampage Inducer and all that, but I don't know. With the rocket launcher, I think I might just rock out. No pun intended. With the rounds as normal, you know, I'll just whack the zombies on the first couple rounds. At the very least, I'll do the usual thing where we go ahead and run up here, get these zombies to spawn in, and yeah, melee weapons do count with the rocket launchers, which is nice. So if we get an insta-kill and say I don't have PhD flopper yet, you know, I just run up and whack if I don't want to risk going down. I will say my strategies have actually slightly shifted when it comes to grinding Nebula Camo. As you guys know, up to this point, I've been doing that strategy where I go, you know, do the water valve until like round 25 to 30, and then normally I would exfil. But now that I've been grinding Opal Camo, I've actually been stretching my games out to like, round 40, which honestly only takes me about an hour to get to. And with that, I've been able to complete about 2 to 2.5 Opal weapons per game, on top of completing almost an entire weapon per match in terms of critical kills, or at least pretty close to it. So when you do the math on all that, not only have I again been completing 2 to 2.5 Opal weapons per game, on top of 1 weapon in terms of at least critical kills per game, sometimes even completing special, you know, it depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing my main weapon plus able to knock out like a couple challenges here and there on the melee weapons, I've been able to do all that within about roughly a 65 to 70 minute span, which is a pretty good rate. Well, unfortunately, I'm out of ammo on my rocket launcher, so wow, yeah, the knife definitely does way more damage, because I can tell you that the baseball bat is only a 1-hit kill for round 1, so yeah, the knife should be I don't know if it'll necessarily be easier, because like the bat was just like really fast in general too. So once I got like melee macchiato, got it like max rarity, max pack-a-punch, I was 1-hitting zombies and even like 2-hitting, I did not mean to use that stim, and even like 2-hitting manglers on like round 30, and then even beyond that when it came to the zombies with, you know, my augments on melee macchiato and everything else that I mentioned, I was still one-hitting zombies in the mid-30s. I didn't try it at the 40s, though I'm sure probably only would have been like a 1 or a 2 hit still. One of the things that helped me a ton when getting that baseball bat done is rocking the Plague Augment for Brain Rot, and then also using the Minor Augment that makes it last just a little bit longer. The way I see it with Brain Rot, there is 2 ways you could run those augments. You can either do the one where the zombie will distract all nearby normal and special enemies for a time, and then pair that with the minor augment that makes the zombies explode at the end of it, dealing toxic damage, which essentially would make them like a monkey bomb of sorts, because they get distracted, you know, all the zombies go toward like they would with a monkey bomb, and then it explodes with the toxic damage. So that's one way to do it with the augments, but I would also recommend the plague one that I mentioned, which is what I personally like to do, and then also pair that with the one that makes it last for a bit longer, because on its own, plague is okay. You can get like 3 to 4 zombies that'll also turn into brain-rotted zombies after the initial activation, and it's alright, it gets a couple kills, but when you have it go for just a little bit longer, the number of zombies that you can get brain-rotted is like double, if not triple that, as well as all the kills that you'll be getting with. Oh, wow, I did not realize that my health was that low. That was totally my fault. I see, since I've been doing the baseball bat, I had melee macchiato that whole time, and every time that you land a successful melee hit, you know, it regens some of your health, but I just completely forgot that, like, hey, yeah, I don't have melee macchiato right now. I should be careful, but I wasn't. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move out here towards Pack-a-Punch. Is this thing still 1-hit? Yeah, okay, it's still 1-hitting. So what we're actually gonna do before we get up towards Pack is we're gonna grab PhD Flopper right off the rip so we can keep working on these kills. At this stage of the game, I have obviously unlocked all of the augments in Black Ops 6 Zombies, and after doing a lot of experimenting, I have to say, playing the game without augments and then playing them with augments, it's like a completely different game, if I'm gonna be honest. In terms of not just difficulty, but also fun factor as a whole, it is just so fun using augments augments in Black Ops 6 Zombies. One thing a lot of people don't know is that you don't actually need to do this Easter egg with the lethal. You can do it with a rocket, so as long as it hits, it'll explode, and then, yeah, the Easter egg still activates. But whether it's Plague with Brain Rot, or whether it's the one thing with Deadwire, I don't remember all the specific names for everything, where it'll chain all the enemies together, but then if you pair that with the thing that makes it do more damage, you're essentially turning your weapon into like a mini Wonderwaff of sorts. And then I have the one thing on my napalm where not only will the enemies explode at the end of the napalm, which will then make it spread to other enemies and set them on fire, but then I also have the minor augment along with that, where every tick has a chance to ignite enemies as it goes. So it turns into this chain reaction where before you know it, your entire train is just being set ablaze. Now, obviously, when you're going for Nebula camo, that can kind of be a pain if you're trying to get critical kills. But if you're going for like launchers or melee weapons, or just simply playing the game for fun and just going for high rounds, yeah, it's a blast. Not to mention the augments for like the field upgrades and the perks, where like for field upgrades you can hold extra charge, or for perks where you're able to get like more health with Juggernog, or reload faster, or switch weapons faster with Speed Colo, or melee macchiato, where you can like regen health every time you land a successful melee hit. Say goodbye, zombies! I don't know what that is, as sometimes I just get those random bursts of energy mid-conversation. I don't know if that's something I should see a doctor about. I'll just be sitting there chilling doing my thing, and then I just get that urge to just yell and be like, aha! I think it's the surprise factor more than anything. It's kind of funny just throwing people off mid-conversations. You know, most times I'm just like a chill talking guy, and in most cases in IRL conversations, I'm not just randomly gonna scream at you, but if like we're playing a game together and I just kind of want to keep the vibes going, I'll just be like, yeah! Just for the sake of it. I'm not gonna lie, that's also me just kind of compensating for the fact that, I mean, you guys see me on video. I have like the most milk toast, not even milk toast, because at least milk has flavor. I'm like the most glass of water with no ice or lemon, not even a straw, and like stale white bread toast that you can get. And the white bread, it's not even like the good white bread. It's literally like Dollar Tree white bread, which is already stale from the minute you buy it. I grew up poor. I know all about that Dollar Tree bread way too well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like rich nowadays by any means, but you know, like I make enough to get by. Definitely doing better than I was back then, because like to put it into perspective, Lunchables were too expensive. If we were having hot dogs, it was like the really cheap hot dogs, the one that were like flimsy even after you cook them and you bite them and it barely even tasted like meat, and then you put it, you know, in between like a piece of white bread rather than a bun, and you know, you better hope that you had enough of like the normal pieces of bread, because otherwise, I mean, whoever ended up getting the end piece was just, I mean, they were just out of luck. They were just getting less bread with their hot dog and therefore going just a little bit hungry. Don't get it twisted. My mama did more than enough to take care of. It was just me and my younger brother at the time. Like, you know, our stomachs were always fed. But sometimes we're definitely easier than others, and a lot of times we're definitely way harder than others. But, you know, we always may do. Alright, now I just need a few more C4 kills to finish up this master. Oh no, I did not realize that I had two. I kind of feel like I wasted some of them, but oh well, is that enough to get my... No, not enough for the mastery. For example, like the first few houses I lived in growing up, I mean, they were just half houses. And even then, they were pretty small. Like the one that I mainly... Because I lived in one at first, but like I can barely remember that one because I was so young. But then by the time I was like 2, I think my mom said I was like probably like not even like 2 years old by the time we moved into the one that I ended up living in, until I was like 8, 7, 8, something like that. You'd walk in the house, there was a living room, and there was enough space for two, like a couch and a love seat on either side of the walls with a coffee table in the middle, but even then, it was like, that was it there, and then on the other side of the room, there was like the small entertainment stand with like, you know, like the CRT Emerson that we had. We had the PS1 and the Super Nintendo hooked up under that, and then a couple years later we got a PS2, and then that was basically it for the living room. And then you go into the next room, and it was sort of like our dining room in quotes. There was like a computer on the left side of the room, a table on one side of the room, and like another side of the room where there was like my table, like the kiddie table, and that was it for that room, like very small. You walk into the kitchen and it was literally just fridge, stove, countertop, sink, and that was it. There was barely any space in the kitchen. And then beside the stove, like right behind it, you would turn to the right and then there would be a staircase. So literally there was like this wall in between the staircase and the stove. You go upstairs and then it would be like my room connected to my parents', or like at the top of the stairs, if you go straight, it would be my little room, which it was like my bed on one side, and then when my brother was born, there was like his bed on that side, and that was literally it. There was also like a doorway at the end or on the left side of my room that would lead to the attic, which the attic was also pretty small. And then if you keep walking through what was me and my brother's room, you would get to my parents' room, which their room was I think even smaller than ours was. They had a bed and a very tiny tube TV. I'm talking like one of those like 12-inch TVs. It was pretty rad though. It had like a built-in VHS to it, so you know, that was cool. But then if we rewind a little bit, you know, before you go into my room, there would be like a bathroom on the right side, and it was the only bathroom in the house, and it was, honestly, that was probably one of the bigger rooms in the house. It was decent size. You had the shower and the bathroom and, you know, the sink, and the toilet and the sink there. And again, I don't know why the bathroom was one of the bigger rooms in the house, but you know, I'll take it. And then if you rewind yet again to the top of the stairs, if you go left, there was like another side room there that you could just kind of like store stuff in. But even that, like, the house was pretty small. You could see all of it in a matter of like a minute if you wanted to. My parents just barely finished high school. I'm pretty sure they both finished high school. Actually, I'd have to ask now because I completely forget, but you know, they had me when they were teenagers. Me and my mom were actually just talking about this the other day when we were at the grocery store. She said her dinners, like, after I was born for a time, for the both of them, since banquet meals were only like, you know, not even like $1. Not like the full-size banquet meals, the ones that actually come with a decent, substantial amount of food. No, like the small ones that just come with like a few chicken nuggets and fries. Obviously, for like two full-grown adults taking care of kids, one of those for each of them wouldn't have been enough. So, she said that their dinners for a while were like 2 of those, and that was that. Because obviously, you know, even if you would eat 2 of those, it would only not even be like $2 back then, you know. With inflation and stuff, I don't know how much those are nowadays, but back then, like, they weren't even $1. Like, they were really cheap. Now, here's the thing I was talking about earlier. Trying to take out the elite enemies, it's not happening. I know I only have a pack 1 blue tier rocket launcher, but I mean, it's round 15. I have brain rot on, which is, you know, one of the Abomination's weaknesses, and it is just so weak, dude. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna run out for a minute, and we're gonna go pack a punch this thing and get it up to an epic rarity and hope that I can do at least a little bit more damage than I am now. But yeah, financially speaking, things were always just kind of rough for my family. Nowadays, things are definitely in a bit of a better position. Nowhere near as bad as they were back then. Still have some times where it's like, okay, kind of, you know, living check to check here, but, you know, for the most part, it's pretty stable for my family, and then, you know, for myself as well, you know, like, I'm doing fine. I make enough to, you know, get what I need to survive, and that's really all I need. You know, I hate when I have more money, because I've noticed the times when I have more money is when I just feel even worse. Whenever I have more money, I do what I can to make sure I get rid of it as soon as possible. Like, I know this is gonna sound stupid, but the times that I have more money, that's the times where I'm like, hey, mom, do you need anything? Or I text my siblings or my brother, or if there's like a birthday coming up for somebody, you know, I'll like save it to like go a little extra on them. I just, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, when I do have extra money, it's not like I just try to spend it immediately or anything like that, but I always just try to, like, you know, return the favor to other people. Money just really isn't a thing to me. Like, I don't care about it. Money has no value for me. As long as I have enough to survive, like, I literally cannot care. I could be broke, but as long as I'm surviving, I mean, I do not care. It is a piece of paper. Do you want to know what paper I care about? I care about toilet paper. And ironically enough, money has just as much value to me as toilet paper does, to where I could wipe my arse with it and, you know, I wouldn't care. Like, it's just a dollar bill. I don't care. That leads into a whole other conversation where it just really makes me sad to see so many content creators nowadays, or people that want to become content creators especially, where, you know, they go into it with the mindset of like, oh, this is gonna be my career. Oh, I want to turn this into a thing where I can get rich off of this. But, like, you know, it should never be about that. This is a completely different conversation, so I'm not even gonna go down this rabbit hole. But in my eyes, the only content creators that are really, like, worth anything in terms of, you know, like, somebody that I can actually respect are the content creators that make the content simply because they want to make it. And even after they've made them, you know, however much money they make, even if they're one of those, like, crazy rich content creators like PewDiePie or, like, DanTDM or whatever, where, like, they've made their money. They could quit at any time, but they keep creating content just because they simply have that drive and desire to make content, money aside. Those are the kind of content creators that I respect. The people that go into it, you know, just with the expectations of, oh, I'm going to make money off of this, I'm going to turn it into a career, I'm going to get rich off of this. I can't stand people like that, and I don't have any respect for people like that. I've been watching YouTube since its conception in 2005, and I've been creating content since 2009, and I can tell you, younger me in 2009 was not sitting there going, oh, I'm gonna turn this into a career, I'm gonna get rich. Like, no, it was just some goofy website that people did for fun. And to this day, even when I created this channel and I started creating content 4.5 years ago, I didn't do it with the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna turn this into some career, I'm gonna get rich off of it. I mean, full transparency, I always had that as like a little hope in the back of my mind to like, hey, if I could turn this into a thing where I could sustain myself off of it and do YouTube full time, that would be amazing. I would be really happy doing that. It is my dream job, but at the same time, that was never like the main goal of like, oh, I need to get to that. It was just like a passive thing of like, oh, if I get there, that would be cool, but if not, That's fine. I'll just keep creating content. I mean, I was still working a 9 to 5 when I started this channel. In fact, there was times where I would work a 12-hour shift, but I refused to break my daily streak, so I would come home from said 12-hour shift after busting butt all day, absolutely tired, drained, barely energy, and that was when I was in the middle of my eating disorder, so I was super underweight, so my body literally had no energy at that point. Like, I was just dragging myself along, yet I still turned the camera on, I still recorded, I still edited, I still uploaded my videos, had the thumbnails made, and I did all of that by myself, and to this day, I still do all of my content by myself. There has never been a single other finger besides mine that has ever interacted with, or interfered with, or had a hand in my content in any way. All of this, everything you've ever seen on the channel has been done by me and me alone. And I don't say any of this to like flex and be like, oh man, look at all this hard stuff I've been through, look at, oh wow, I just died. That actually really sucks. We were really close to getting that camo challenge done. I should have been more careful, but I don't say any of this to like flex or be like, oh, feel bad for me or like anything else like that. I just say this stuff to just like, you know, just explain how dedicated I am to the channel and to you guys and how much I just genuinely love what I do. And that also ties back into the money conversation that we've been on the, you know, this entire time, where it's like, you know, I know what it's like to be poor. I lived more than half of my life poor. Gosh dang it, dude. We were literally 100 kills. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll have to finish that up later. Okay, so I'll need to get 100 kills, then 30 vermin eliminations, 300 eliminations at rare or higher, and then that. Okay, yeah, I'll finish that up later. Dang it, dude, I really wanted to get that done in this video. But the main reason that I wanted to have this conversation is because, you know, lately, the channel has been doing really well. You know, you guys know me, I'm not a numbers guy. I don't care about views, likes, comments, subscribers, anything like that. You know, I never even say to subscribe or like in my videos because I feel like it's so obnoxious and disrespectful to the viewer to be like, hey, like my video, subscribe to my channel, make sure you comment. It's like, they're not children. If they want to do it, they'll do it. If they don't, they don't. Like, stop wasting my time and provide me with good content, and if I like the content, then I'll click the like button, and if I feel it's engaging enough to comment, then I'll leave a comment. It's as simple as that. If I want to subscribe, like, I mean, I'll subscribe if I like your content. Don't tell me to do it. When you tell me to do it, that's the minute I click off the video. But yeah, obviously, you know, the channel's been doing, like, really well lately, you know, at least by my channel standards, and I just, you know, genuinely wanted to say, because again, even though I'm not a numbers guy and I try to avoid talking about numbers literally at all on the channel, I also feel it's important to kind of be transparent and just say how thankful I am to all of you. You know, I've seen a lot of you know, returning faces in the comment section lately, and just people either coming back that haven't been commenting for a while, or people just continuing to come back that, you know, comment on almost every video, and I really do appreciate it. You know, I love getting to talk with you guys and interact with all you down there, and it genuinely makes my day anytime I get to go into the comments and read, you know, because there's just so much positivity down there. In my shorts comment section, it's a bit different. The shorts comment sections are pretty toxic, and you know, I'll skim through some of that stuff, but I just know not to take any of it seriously. So there's just a lot of brain-rotted kids over there, if I'm not gonna lie. But especially, you know, when it comes to my long-form content, you know, there's just always a lot of love and positivity down there. So I just genuinely wanted to say that, you know, thank you guys. I love all of you. I seriously appreciate it. And with it being the holidays, you know, it's even more important now more than ever to seriously spread that love and joy, and just to let you guys know how much I love you and how excited I am. Not just, you know, with how well the channel's been doing and how many new faces I've gotten to meet, because that's the thing for me. I don't care about the numbers. I don't care how big the numbers are. To me, what the numbers represent is more important than whatever number that, however high it could ever be. When I see that the channel has like 4,000, however many subscribers, I see 4,000 beautiful faces that have decided to join the grotesque community, to be a part of this wholesome little family here, where I try to keep this a safe and positive space on the otherwise toxic, negative echo chamber of this dead internet of ours. And when I say dead internet, I don't mean dead in the sense of like, oh, it's dead, there's nothing happening. I just mean more it's dead in the sense of there's barely any passion, there's barely any thought going into half of the stuff out there. Half is just brain-rotted nonsense, and it just feels kind of lifeless and lonely, ironically enough, in this quote-unquote social media, where everybody's just becoming more and more antisocial through the social media, where everybody is treating each other less and less like humans and treating each other more like NPCs and thinking they can just say whatever they want to say because a screen is protecting them. It's just, I don't know, it's just a really weird time, just a weird time to adapt to. And, you know, with me getting a bit older now, you know, I remember a different time of the internet. You know, I had like a MySpace page back in the day. I was there for like the beginning days of Facebook, where it was just, the internet was different. You found friends online, you talked, you interacted, and things just still felt so alive. But nowadays it just feels really, You know what I mean? Just feels like a conveyor belt of nonsense from all angles, whether you're looking at the content that's being created, the comment sections, all of it. And the saddest part is that most of it is just geared towards financial gain, which hands itself and leans into even more what I was literally just saying about, like, the whole conveyor belt thing, where everything just feels so manufactured online and so fake and so robotic and so you know, like, processed. I don't know what the word is, but you know what I mean, where it's just like, you know, you click on a video and it's like, okay, I've already seen this before, but it's just a spin on that same formula, just trying to keep my retention and attention up in order for them to get higher views and to get more money, and it just feels so bleh. Which once again doubles back into what I was just saying about the whole money thing, where I don't care whatever happens. I will never change my style of content. I will never give into you know, those ways of content creation or those ideals. I don't care how much money I make. I don't care how big the numbers get. I don't care how small the amount of money I make or how small the numbers could ever get if things would, like, backpedal for one reason or another. I don't care. I'm never changing my ways. I create content because I love creating content. And that is it. I love creating content. I love interacting with all of you. That is the only reason that I do any of this, and anything else is just an added bonus, and I am seriously very thankful and appreciative for all of it, between the love and support and the success of everything else. So with that, I'll stop blabbering there and just leave it at, thank you guys so much for everything. I love all of you, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for yet another Nebula Camo grinding session, and I only have a few more weapons to go, so who knows, I may even be ready to start working on Afterlife Camo by tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then definitely the day after, but we're in the end game now. But anyway, as always, massive shout out to all the patrons and channel members. Thank you to all of you in the low ball tier, and an even bigger shout out to the big ball tier, Melasking, and Big Daddy Manny, and the biggest shout out to the G tier, Ron Events, and the Cheese Girl. Thank you guys so much, you guys are literal legends. I love you. Have an amazing day, stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.